This engineer and his friend pulled a lot of steel pipes into the open sea to become president. They uncapped the tubes, and as the water poured in, the tubes sank vertically to the bottom of the sea. After months of hard work, they built a foundation with dozens of tubes and built a platform on top. That's how Paul became the founding president of the Republic of Rose Island. In order to achieve freedom of fresh water, Paul brought in a drilling rig to drill a well into the sea right on the island. Although the island is close to Italy, it is on the high seas and does not belong to any country. The Italian coast guards, who came to see what was going on, when they learned that Paolo was building a nation on the sea, thought it was a joke and left with a quick hello. Instead, it made Paul think that the Italian government recognized his international status. After tireless efforts, they finally achieved freshwater freedom on the island. President Paul immediately decided to stay for the first night. At night, he admired the beautiful sea breeze and was convinced that he would spend the rest of his life here. But soon the starry night sky was suddenly covered with dark clouds and a light rain fell. At first, Paul hid under a parasol, but soon the whole country was surrounded by stormy weather. He was shivering in the surf, and even his only parasol left him. One big wave and Paul was half dead. If it wasn't for a lost bearded man, he would have been the first country and head of state to be destroyed by a wave. Afterwards, Paul invited the bearded man to become a citizen of Rose Island. They built a house on the island and soon took in another man. The man, who used to work in public relations, now wanted to enjoy life away from crime and suggested to Paul that the country should be turned into a tourist attraction. This would raise the profile of Rose Island and bring in a lot of money. Under the PR man's management, restaurants and bars were built, attracting many Italians. President Paul also announced that the official language of the Rose Island would be Esperanto. Their story soon made the headlines and more tourists from Europe came to visit, making it the hottest internet hotspot of the day. It wasn't long before they welcomed another citizen. A woman was pregnant but didn't know who the father was. To avoid gossip, she joined the Rose Island as a bartender. A month later, Paul had not only recouped all the costs of building the country, he had also made a fortune. When his ex-girlfriend found out he was president, she came over to see what it was all about. Paul proudly shows her his country, but his ex-girlfriend throws shade at him, saying it's not a country, it's just a place to dance. Paul looks over at the crowd of people getting high and is deep in thought.